This is something that no one should ever experience. There was a moment when I realized, this is actually happening. I might not make it out.
At first I thought things were just gonna be normal. It was a regular day. What could go wrong?
Part of me was wondering how I would be able to continue going on with knowing what happened.
Next time this happens, we might not be as lucky.
It was a Saturday morning, and I thought, since it was a really rough week in school, I would play it simple and invite my friend Adam over to hang out, watch some TV, maybe play some video games.
I woke up this morning with a text message on my phone from Alex. He was asking me if we wanted to hang out. Things weren't going too well at school, so I was like, sure, I'll go. So I texted him back. I'm like, I'll be at your house at about 1.
Finding out I had an hour or two before Adam came over, I thought I would check to see if I had any chips or, dip or salsa left, and that's when things started to go wrong. I looked everywhere for chips. I could only find restaurant-style chips. We only had salsa, but there were no scoops. Walking outside of my car, I thought I could just pick up more scoops, and then no one would have to worry. I get in my car, the seat adjustment wasn't working. My seat was 2 inches away from where it should have been. I panicked. I'm standing in line at the ShopRite, and I finally walk up to the self-checkout machine. My ShopRite shopper card was sitting in the car. I didn't get any reward points. I'm ready to check out, and the cash register says it's $1.10. I had to use a second dollar to buy the scoops. I was almost at the verge of breakdown. I barely made it out there alive.
I finished my work early, so I'm like, hey Alex, I'm gonna come over a little bit early. No big deal, right?
By the time I got his text, I was a block away. Knowing Adam wasn't too far away, I ran inside. I think I actually broke a sweat.
He told me what happened, and the first thing I thought was that I had to help him. He dealt with too much today. I had to do something. So we were just watching TV, and everything was calm, and it was actually a nice Saturday afternoon. We were hanging out for about 45 minutes. We were just, hanging out, watching TV, eating some chips with some salsa. And then I took a scoop, and I went in for some salsa. But when I came back out, I had taken the last chunk of salsa. It wasn't the last scoop, though. I didn't think it was possible running out of salsa before chips.
What were we supposed to do without any more dip? Looking in the bag, we had about 1/4 of the bag left.
We tried to play it calm, so we went to the fridge to look for more salsa. The only thing we had was a new jar, and we didn't want to open up a new jar.
If we opened a new jar, then we would have too much dip and not enough chips. There was nothing we could do.
Realizing things were going bad fast, we started thinking of our options. We could either have too much salsa, or we don't finish the chips. If we didn't finish the chips, they wouldn't be as fresh the next day, and that's nasty. That's just like if I threw them out right there. They'd be useless.
Remembering we had the second fridge, I ran downstairs to see if there were any jars left down there that were open.
It was mild. Who eats mild? We couldn't eat the scoops with mild. I almost threw up just thinking about it. How could someone be so vanilla to eat mild?
Part of me was wondering, if things would have ended better if we never found the mild salsa. We should have never went looking. I have nightmares every night since then because of it.
I cried. I couldn't handle the thought of having to choose either slightly stale chips or mild. Ugh. We almost didn't make it. It was horrible. How do people eat like that?
The only good part about that night was that there were enough chips to match with the salsa. It almost ended in disaster.
I try not to think back on that night. I only think towards the future. If I look back on that night, I'll never be the same.
I've been going to therapy since that day, and I can say that my nightmares, they've stopped.
I survived because I know how to be prepared for these things in the future.
When I think back to that night, it just makes me glad that I was able to survive. With the help of my friend, I endured the struggles of middle-class life. After everything that happened, we survived.